At the end of World War II, a handful of gay writers began to include their secret lives in their novels, plays, and poems. Homosexuality was a crime in all 48 states, but these men dared to write about it. They began the great change in how all Americans, gay and straight, would think about sex and love, and about culture too. These men were outlaws, but now we think of them as pioneers, even founding fathers.
Hi, my name is Christopher Brand. I'm a gay writer myself, author of the novel that became the movie Gods and Monsters. I wrote Eminent Outlaws because nobody had told this story before, and it's an amazing story. It has everything: love, sex, politics, friendship, humor. These guys could be very funny. The story takes place all over the United States, but much of it happens in New York City. I'm from Virginia myself, but I moved to New York over 30 years ago. It feels like home to me now. One of the pleasures of writing this book was discovering that I'd been living at the scene of the crime, so to speak. I've been walking around in history for years without even knowing it. For example, Anais Nin lived in this apartment building on West 13th Street. It was here that she introduced Gore Vidal to Truman Capote in 1947. They were in their early 20s, and they were friendly at first. Years later, the high school across the street became the city's lesbian and gay community center. Here's the Chelsea Hotel up on West 23rd Street, where Gore Vidal sort of had sex with Jack Kerouac on a hot summer night in 1953. Kerouac was straight, mostly, but he did this on a dare, or maybe just to get back at his friend William Burroughs. Further uptown is the Plaza Hotel, the scene of Truman Capote's famous Black and White Ball, celebrating the success of In Cold Blood in 1966. Back downtown is 81 Horatio Street, where novelist James Baldwin lived for a time, one of the few people of color in Greenwich Village. A few blocks away is the Stonewall Inn, site of the famous riots of 1969 that for many people marks the birth of gay liberation. Young Edmund White was in the chanting crowd. Middle-aged Allen Ginsberg visited the next day to pay his respects. Oscar Wilde Memorial Bookstore was located nearby on Christopher Street. It's gone now, but it was the first gay and lesbian bookstore in the country. Bookstores were a major force in gay liberation. The Public Theater by Astor Place was the first home of important new plays by Larry Kramer and Tony Kushner. Theater was as important as books in this story. People don't have to see a play to talk about it, and they talked about these plays a lot. We now live in a noisy, open age of argument about same-sex marriage and gays in the military, with gay characters on TV and the It Gets Better campaign on the internet. But it wasn't always this way. Eminent Outlaws tells an incredible story that will interest anyone who cares about the way we live now and how we got here. It's an epic of 50 years of American social change. But it's also a book of love stories, because that's all homosexuality really is. Just another love story with a twist.